It's Thursday. It's 5:30, and it's time for your live Q&A with Lee Brown. And if you're curious about the background, because every time y'all log in on a Thursday, you're finding out I'm in a different place. Today, I'm walking down to my chicken house, go check on the chickens because we have had some nasty thunderstorms here in North Carolina. And so the poor things can't hardly get dried out, and it's aggravating their nerves. And so what you should be doing is asking me a question over here in the comments. Anything you want to ask about real estate, or sales or the markets. I mean, you can ask me things about chickens, but I don't know all the answers. I do know, though, that I've had to invent a lot of new recipes for eggs because I've got eggs coming out the wazoo. And I'm just checking. I got frog around the pool this afternoon. There was a turtle out here this morning. I don't really know what he was doing by my pool. So I'll tell y'all the question I was just asked, and make sure I got my comments turned on there. I know y'all are just hanging out because you want to see the chickens. So you can say, hey, and there's one turkey too. That's Goliath. It's a whole thing. So anyway, the question I was asked is, what do you say as a realtor to buyers who are nervous about interest rates right now? What I can tell you is this: our people are not stupid. And I think that's a mistake that some salespeople make, that they know more than their customers. Your customers just need you to give them reassurance and a little bit of background so that they can make great decisions. So your consumers know what happened with the inflation numbers yesterday. They came out. Oh, Rick, what's up, Australia? I had missed you, friend. So what happened with the inflation rates here in the U.S. yesterday? The print came out at 9.1%, and we all know that's probably not even the full number because the government has manipulated how they calculate the inflation rate. And so when inflation rates go up, for the Fed to, okay, there's your chickens. Y'all can look at the chickens. See, and Warlock says, hey. But what you should know is that with interest rates, the only way to stop inflation is for interest rates to be higher than the rate of inflation. Now, once we get there, we're probably going to be looking at an era of stagflation. It's going to be a mess for a while, okay? So you should know it's not going to get pretty. It's not going to be predictable, and that's okay. See, Warlock agrees. And the reason that people count on you as a realtor is to help them think their way through the process. So let's just consider, if right now a 30-year fix is at 5.75 or 6. If rates go to 8, they're going to be really glad they got in at 6. If rates go to 4, somebody could go back and refinance. But honestly, friends, I just don't think we're going to go back down on rates anytime soon because there's a lot of future issues coming in the economy. And what that means for somebody who's wondering if they should buy or if they should rent, if you're renting, your numbers are going to go up because we still have a shortage of houses. And until the shortage is solved, and that's a ways down the road, supply chain, right? Labor issues. There's so many reasons for the housing shortage. And of course, people moving to where you are. North Carolina came out yesterday as the #1 economy. Whoop, whoop, amongst the states. We're awesome here. But that leaves us with a future shortage of housing. So rates go up, buyers pull back. We still have a shortage. That means the shortage actually gives us a floor on the market, right? But it doesn't solve the underlying economic issues. So the person who buys a house now, even if they don't really like the overall numbers, if the monthly is okay and they're in a 30-year fixed, they have some kind of a hedge against inflation because gas is going to keep going up and food is going to go up big time. When everything else is unpredictable, if housing is predictable, you've got a giant chunk of your budget that is a space you can count on. All right, here's another question. It says, Facebook user, I don't know why it doesn't tell me the names, but I would say it, friend, if I saw it. With so many realtors among us, how do I stand out? First of all, talk about stuff like this, right? Most realtors want to talk about open houses and they want to talk about this cute kitchen. And there's nothing wrong with letting people know that you enjoy pretty houses. There's nothing wrong with you talking about the things that you've seen out showing properties. But why don't you talk about some of the serious issues around real estate? Because a lot of realtors are afraid of it. Talk about interest rates and talk about inflation rates and talk about what we're discussing here and how buyers can think ahead. For home sellers, now is the time to give honest advice. It's time to stage again. It's time to do upgrades again. And yes, you're going to have to do repairs again. That will actually help you stand out because honesty, sad to say, is not as common as it should be. And that's the general public. That's not just realtors. All right. But it's one of the top things that the public asks for when they're looking for a realtor. They want somebody that's honest. So if you're doing the research and providing some insights, that's a huge opportunity to differentiate yourself in a really crowded marketplace. The other way you differentiate is look at your social feeds. All right. So if I have a person in Concord who's moving to your market, let's just pull a number out of the market. Let's say I'll talk to Rick. He's in Australia. And so my people are moving over there, right? They are going to go look Rick up before they call him. They're going to want to know what kind of a realtor he is. Well, if your social feeds are just full of open house, interest rate, low inventory, you're boring, you're dreadful, and they can't tell you apart. So put a little bit of something about yourself in there. Maybe it's chickens, right? Look at how they're all standing here, y'all. They are waiting for a snack because they hear my voice. And did you know chickens can memorize like 100 different people? It's kind of amazing. And mysterious kind of sounds like an old car horn, which we think is hilarious. Okay, I need to do a podcast on this. You know, this is recorded, so you can come back and look at it again. But maybe I will do a longer video and talk about this. And then let's see, what are the best ways to get more clients in what appears to be a down market? Pick up your phone and call people. Be visible. When things go down and things look weird, do you know what most realtors do? They get really afraid and they stop doing things because they would like the market to be normal. And the only thing that's constant is change. Now, I'm a 22-year realtor, so I've been through lots of market conditions. You have to know the last 2.5 years of COVID has been an aberration of a market. Well, that means you're going to have to shift your education. You're going to have to get really educated and be the one who says, hey, things are changing and that's okay, because you should know that houses are bought and sold in every market. And sometimes the job of a realtor is to be the hopeful person. So when you call somebody and you say, hey, what's up? How you doing? And they say to you, what's going on in the market? They've got fear in their voice. You got to tell them, look, it might be a good time for you to buy. It might not. Might be a good time for you to sell. It might not. Your answer is always, it depends, because a really great realtor, loan officer, salesperson of any sort is going to always personalize their response. You've got to personalize your response. You don't feed fear with fear. You feed fear with facts, and you feed emotion with logic. You feed logic sometimes with emotion, right? And so we do feed chickens too. Look at this. They are all standing on their various perches waiting for me to give them a snack. So let me answer your questions instead of giving the chickens a snack, because it's driving them crazy. And my favorite, let me see if I see her. No, she's in the house right now. Flossie's my favorite, and she's a little bit camera shy, you know. So it says, what are the 3 top steps I should take right now in this current market? The first one is get on the phone with people, because your past clients, your future clients, your friends, your neighbors, they're afraid. I talked to my neighbors across the street the other day, and they were asking how they should be investing in the stock market. Well, they know that I have a background in stocks and bonds. So we were having a conversation that had nothing to do with real estate, but it is helpful to building relationships and, frankly, just being a decent human who talks to people about things that aren't about real estate. So can I just remind y'all that you are not what you do? And if everything you talk about is always your business, you're dreadfully boring, and I don't want to hang out with you either. And so talk about things besides your professional life. Talk about things that matter to other people. Actually, I want to go across the street because they just got back from Montana, and I want to hear about their trip. And legit, that's the only thing I want to hear about, because I just love them to pieces. So the first thing I want you to do right there is go talk to people. The second thing I want you to do is start getting really, really, really educated. I mean, go to classes. And if you are an early career realtor, hang out with a mentor or a broker or somebody who was in the business during the last downturn, so you can learn some vocabulary, you can learn some phrases. I do have a class coming out soon on how to dominate during a recession. It'll be out like in the next week or so. But in the meantime, in your market, talk to somebody who's got some knowledge. It doesn't mean you're a bear or a negative Nelly. It means you're preparing yourself to answer all kinds of questions that we haven't had to answer in 2.5 years. And the other thing I want you to do in this current market is become a student of your multiple listing service data. And I want you to go in, find your zip code, and start looking at month over month data, because you need to be watching the trend lines in the market. For the last 2.5 years, the trend line has been straight up the side of a mountain. And now we're still seeing some increases in a lot of markets, but it's edging off. And we're seeing days on market increase. We're seeing price adjustments to listings. And you need to be the one who knows it better than anybody. Don't wait to be asked. Go do the research right now. And let's see, James says the market is getting back to normal and buyers may not have to make crazy offers. You can do inspections again, contingent on appraisal again. It all depends on the market, right? So in some markets you can, in some markets it's still really sticky. And it depends on the house, right? So if a house has been on the market for a month or 3 weeks, you probably do have that opportunity. If it's been on for 5 minutes and it's perfectly perfect and priced right, you might still be in a wildly competitive space. I mean, it's so personalized, and that's the number one job of a realtor and also of a loan officer, to make sure that your clients know you're going to personalize it for them. And this is also your chance to tell people if they've been waiting on a value market, this might not feel like a value, but as compared to a year ago, it is a value. But again, go back to what I talked about earlier. What you're providing for them is a hedge against inflation with that stability of that monthly payment on 30-year fixed. And by the way, if somebody asks me about a 15, I'm all in favor of them looking at a 15 number, but taking out a 30-year note so that if they hit a financial rocky spot, they can make their payments and stay ahead of it. And then if things are still good, make the 15-year payment and pay it off early. So there's ways to manage it, but give people great, solid counsel. I know, Kathy, my chickens and my roosters are amazing. The class sign up, if you just hang tight, I'm pretty sure that my people will come in and give you the link there so you can sign up for it. I don't know if the link's ready yet, but we'll give you the inside scoop. Actually, just DM me with your email address and I'll keep you alerted. And absolutely, Andy, thank you. You know what? It's going to put me on the soapbox if you say don't price a house per square, because that is not how we price houses. That is how a certain website, which shall be called Voldemort, prices property. And it's not accurate. And it's also why independent appraisers are so incredibly valuable in the marketplace. So quit talking smack about your appraisers, because they have to factor in so many things that are not just square footage, bedrooms and bathrooms and such. I know, Rick, my chickens have so much to say right now, but they're not professional realtors. And in fact, they're not licensed. And so you really shouldn't listen to them. They might know too much from listening to me, but they don't have a license. They also can't be paid referral fees. And so you do not try to pay a chicken. You take their eggs. That's what we do in return for what we feed them. And look, they're dying for a snack. Are there any other questions in here? Oh, I put my thumb over the thing. See, I know, right? Flossie's amazing. I don't know where she's at. She is hiding. She and Barbara actually are in the chicken house hiding from you people because they're nervous. So let's see if there's any other questions before I let y'all go. Remember, I'm going to do this every Thursday afternoon at 5:30 Eastern time and try to be here live for you to answer some questions. I won't try to. I'll be here for you to answer some questions, because as things change, and it feels like they're changing every 24 minutes right now, not even 24 hours, it's important for us to stay alert and educated. You want my pitch on coaching? Look, all right. The pitch, oh, look, y'all. Okay, look, you see this? Look, Myrtle is in here brooding. You see her? I'm trying to get my camera in there. Can you see Myrtle? She's trying to make us some baby chicks. Oh, I'm so tickled. I can't wait to be a grandma. It makes me a grandma chick owner. So anyway, let's see. My pitch on coaching is sign up for a coach if you need accountability, ideas, a sounding board, a professional to work with. Don't sign up for coaching if you won't listen or you won't take the calls, because too many people sign up for coaching and then dodge their coach. What? And then ignore what their coach says. What? And so when I do coaching, it is very a la carte. I just book an hour when people need an hour, because I don't believe in taking people's money if they're not going to actually do what I said or actually show up. And I'm early in my career. Should I farm? Yes, you should farm, but I will tell you. So I'll have to do a whole thing about farming, because too many people farm their geographic neighborhood where they live without verifying by the data that it's where they should farm. Because the things you should know about a geographic farm are: how many properties are in the farm? What's the turnover in 12 and 24 months? What's the average price point? What's it going to cost you to touch that farm 8 to 12 times? And who is selling all the houses in there? Because if somebody controls the market, you might be wasting your money and your time. And so you just have to evaluate, right? And so if where you live doesn't have any turnover, pick another neighborhood. And if you have a price point that you know really well, or you like first timers or retirees, pick a neighborhood that fits your strengths, because too often we're trying to be all things to all people. And that's another way to differentiate in a crowded marketplace, by the way. Don't try to be all things to all people. Try to be the best version of a realtor for a niche in your market. As my friend Michelle in Florida says, there's riches in niches. And so it's very important that you be very specific. And Michelle, I think I have that webinar about listings and farms available. I don't know if I've made that or not. I will. I've got too much content because my head's full and I tried dumping stuff out. So let's see if anything is here. So, and by the way, you don't have to just farm early in your career. It's any time in your career, because you should always be keeping your name out there in front of people. And I still have a geographic farm. What's funny is there's people that know me, my past clients are in there, and they just think it's funny when they get mail from me. And I also people farm, because don't forget the people farms. That is people you know from church and school and your kids' friends and your hobbies and your life people. you should always stay in front of them too. And don't just assume they see you on social media, because social media is kind of a hot mess with the way they mess with the algorithms, and Meta's changing them right now because we can't call it Facebook anymore. Didn't Ron Artest change his name to Meta World Peace? I think that Facebook should have named themselves Ron Artest. But, I liked him more after watching that program about him on ESPN or Netflix. It was really good. I really like Ron Artest now. But anyway, and let's see, there's the course coming up over here in the links. Do you have any other questions I can answer for y'all before I feed the chickens and let you go? I don't see any other ones. So I love y'all. Please go call somebody and say hey to them. And when they say hey back and you say, what y'all doing? And they say, how's the market? I want you to say to them, well, tell me why you're asking, what you've been reading about the market, and get some curiosity going first. And then you can provide some insights and some personalized feedback, because that's the mark of a great, amazing human and a great, amazing realtor. Be a human first, then a realtor. And I'll see you next week, Thursday, 5:30 Eastern time. And I might not be with the chickens, and so just say bye to the chickens. There comes Cookie. Oh, look, y'all. She came out to say hey. That's my chicken I named after my mama. And she's over there on the little wall at the big chicken house. This is a very redneck Gabriel. It's a totally redneck Riviera back here. So if you ever wondered if I'm always put together, now you know why I wear $6 Marshall shirts, because I got to put my money in my chickens. Anyway, I'll see y'all next time.